So could you tell me a little bit about Henrid Estate, how long you've managed here, and basically the background to the farm?
I've been managing here for 20 years. We've got a farm which is a range of ownerships, some owned, some contract farmed, some rented, growing wheat, barley, oilseed rape, pulses, and a small sheep flock just to graze a few bits of grass we can't crop.
And what sort of acreage does that cover in total?
It's about 2,500 acres, pretty well in a ring fence, so it makes life quite easy to manage. Big fields, good infrastructure, so it all works quite nicely.
In terms of marketing your grain every year, are there any strategies you put in place to, say, smooth out some of the volatility that's in the market currently?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, no, the marketing's been incredibly difficult the last few years. What we normally do is sell a little bit forward, sell a little bit spot, put a little bit into pools, and just hedge our bets by using different techniques. But it's so volatile now, it's very difficult to hit the tops of the market. So I'm thinking that I'll use grain pools more and more and let professional people that supposedly can market better than I can do a better job than I can.
And do you feel there are any issues specific to the soil or the land that this farm kind of brings up for you?
Well, one of the main issues, which has always been an issue, is compaction and looking after husbanding the soil properly. We've always had a real sort of eye on minimising compaction. We've always run machines with dual wheels all round, oversized tyres. We've had combines with tracks ever since they've been available. But recently we've sort of got to the stage where the machines are getting so big, so heavy. For example, the combine harvester is nearly 30 tonne gross, that you can't really tyre sufficiently. And with the advent of a few other things like RTK, self-steered machines that are becoming reliable and affordable, we sort of put two and two together and thought, well, let's put all the compaction in one place, match all our implement widths, and go to a controlled traffic farming system where all the wheels of all the machines are running down the same tracks. So instead of spreading the compaction all over the fields, we're putting it in a specific place. Well, the combine and the main cultivating tractor has got GPS steering, which has got an RTK correction signal, which makes it accurate to within 2 or 3 centimetres. But the main thing is it stops the satellite drift. So year on year, the marks that you put in one year are in the same place the following year, because it's ground referenced. So they're always in the same place and you always know where you are. That's been the main bit of technology which has made it possible to sort of put these tracks in one place and keep them there.
Bottom line, I mean, what are you hoping to achieve by moving to this controlled traffic system?
Well, the main thing is it's saving us costs, because previously when we were randomly trafficking with different implement widths all over the fields, we were probably trafficking about 85% of the soil surface. So then you were going back into the fields with cultivators, trying to remove the compaction, burning a lot of diesel, spending quite a lot of time doing this. Now we're probably only trafficking about 15% to 20% of the soil surface. So the 80 to 85% that isn't trafficked, we don't have to deep cultivate. So we're just touching that with a shallow cultivator. Labour savings, time savings are massive, and the fuel savings, but also the soil structure should improve, and hopefully over time the yields will go up. And of course we're sequestering loads of carbon because we're not deep ripping the soils and letting the carbon back out into the atmosphere. So it's ticking every box really.
I noticed your combine, the Lexion, has the tracks there. Was that one of the thoughts when you went to choose which combine you were going to have?
There's a few boxes the combine ticks which particularly suits our CTF system. The first thing, obviously, it's on tracks. Everything we do is to try and minimise compaction. Even if we've got compaction in the same place, we still want to minimise it. The other particular thing about this combine, it's got a narrow body. It's 20 centimetres narrower than our previous combine. And so what we've done, we've taken our tractor wheel centres and spaced them wider. So our composite wheeling that we've got every 10 metres across the field is quite narrow. whereas with a wide-bodied combine, we'd end up with a very wide composite wheeling. That's the first thing. The other obvious thing, it's got a very long spout, which means the grain trailers can sit 10 metres away from the combine in the previous set of combine wheelings and be unloaded into the middle of the trailer. The header is 10.5 metres, and we're operating that at 10 metres, so we're cutting 10 metre swath up the field every time. And they're the main features, but there's one other feature that's really handy for controlled traffic. It's got quite a large grain tank compared to its predecessor, so it means when we're opening up a new land, we don't have to stop halfway down the land and go off our controlled traffic lines to fill a trailer. The combine, if it starts with an empty tank, it can get to the end of the land before it has to unload, and then it can unload on the move with the grain trailers always sitting on the controlled traffic lines.
New TerraTrack system, we're trying to reduce compaction through the machine further by giving an active suspension system on the TerraTracks. It takes less vibration through from the machine through into the ground, so helping us to reduce our compaction levels. Running on a narrow body system, narrow body combine, taking away from his previous wider body machine, but getting the same output by putting more horsepower into the combine. We can't physically increase the size of these combines anymore, so we're getting more efficiency from the machine by changing aspects of it to get more efficiency out of the thrashing and get a better output from the combine. So we have more horsepower on these combines. There's 490 horsepower Caterpillar engine on this machine, but along with that we put a new dynamic cooling system on there, so we're actually cooling only on demand now. So on a cloudier day like today where the temperature's not there, we don't have to have our cooling system running flat out the whole time. That saves us around 20 horsepower on the combine, which is given back to the thrashing system to improve output. It's also saving fuel as well, so if you're not running the cooling system flat out the whole time, we're not burning as much fuel. So by doing that, we're reducing the fuel bill for the farmer as well as getting more output from the machine.
It's an absolute fantastic, well, it's almost the perfect CTF combine. We've always been happy with Lexion combines. They're reliable and they sort of do what we need them to do. But this particular combine, with its header width, auger length, narrow body, good chopper, just really suits what we're trying to do perfectly.
Well, we're getting more output out of a narrow body combine now, so by making it a more efficient machine, saving power within the combine itself, not reinventing the wheel on the thrashing drum, the rotors, but saving the efficiency in the cooling system, the hydraulics, the electronics, that side of the things, getting more efficiency from the combine, getting more output out of a smaller combine is the key to this 760, the Lexion 760 this year. We obviously have the bigger machines on top of that on the wider bodies, and we're doing exactly the same efficiencies on those machines, trying to bring down fuel consumption, trying to get more output per hour to bring down the cost of fuel per tonne of wheat or barley or rape grown is the key to the Lexion concept at the moment.
If you could look forward, say 5-10 years into the future of this farm, where would you like it to be in that timescale?
Well, I mean, it's difficult to say. We'd like to keep pulling our costs down. The best way of doing that is to be farming more land. Controlled traffic farming would allow us to do that because we can cover much more ground with the men and machines we've got, because we're not deep working the soil. But otherwise, just to keep farming sustainably and as cheaply as we can, so our cost per tonne really is as low as it can be.